Hello and welcome back to Time Walk TV. My name is Ron, and we are back with some Core Set 2020 spoilers. First off, if you're enjoying the video, enjoying the content, consider subscribing. It does help out a lot. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it here to our first card. I believe this was spoiled yesterday, but let's go ahead and take a look. Goblin Ringleader. This is an old card, 4 mana. 3 in a red, 2/2 haste goblin. Says whenever it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all goblin cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest on the bottom in any order. So the main thing that this is pushing is Vial goblins. We're getting closer and closer to a Ether Vial goblin list in Modern to compare to the Legacy goblins. So it seems like every set we're inching closer and closer to that really sweet, like mid-rangey kind of Vial goblin deck that seems really cool. This thing can go crazy when it finds 2, 3, maybe even 4 goblins. You never know. Could be really sweet. I'm excited to see what people start doing with it as they started adding more of these legacy style goblins that are really powerful, that aren't just focused on being aggressive and kill you as fast as possible like the AWAC deck. So excited to see this card, see what happens in the future, but let's go ahead and move on to our next card here. Next we have Legion's End. So 1 in a black for a sorcery. Reads exile target creature an opponent controls with converting mana cost 2 or less, and all other creatures that player controls with the same name as that creature. Then that player reveals their hand and exiles all cards with that name from their hand and graveyard. Now this is a very interesting card because it kind of seems like a Bile-Blight style card. Bile-Blight was a black -3/-3 to everything with the same name. We've seen cards like this before that usually give minus power and toughness, but this one is actually pretty interesting because it exiles a creature and all of the creatures with the same name. So this might be, kind of a hint. Usually core sets give you a bit more of a hint on what's coming rather than what's currently, here. So this is kind of a nudge or a hint to see what might be coming in the future along the lines of, making a mass amount of creatures that are all the same. And the cool thing about this one is when you kill a creature or exile a creature, they reveal, their opponent reveals their hand, and you get to look at their hand and, take any creature that has the same name as the one that you exiled from their hand and graveyard. So, at the end of toward a long game, if you, killed 2 of their guys and then you exile it with this, you get to, take them out of the graveyard. So there might be some graveyard interaction that they're trying to get around, or something that goes wide or copies or makes copies of, a certain creature that makes, a ton of them. So pretty excited about this card. Great 2 mana removal for any kind of black deck. Not sure where it's going to end up currently, but when we get into that kind of extended new standard, I guess, it's going to be like a non-rotating format that's coming in the fall. This might have a big part in it, but for the most part it looks like Legion's End will just be a solid 2 mana removal spell to go alongside Tyrant Scorn for right now. This might even have some modern playability, against Death Shadows and Golos and everything like that. So we'll see where it ends up, but we're going to go ahead and move along to our next card here. Okay, so the next card we have here is called Blessed Cleric. It is a white 1/4 human cleric. Whenever an angel enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 4 life. And whenever an angel dies, or an angel that you control, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So pretty, solid card. Good body, 1/4. Mana cost is low, so you can play this against aggressive decks and kind of stonewall them for a while. Then if you, curve up into your Resplendent Angels or Shalais, Lyras, you're gaining a lot of life back if they, burned you or, beat you up a little bit with bigger creatures. So the incremental value of that life gain in your angel deck is great. That also goes really well with Resplendent Angel, so that you can start making those angel tokens. Whenever an angel you control dies, create a 1/1 spirit token. So that's kind of a little bit of a protection area right there. So you have a bunch of angels out, get board wiped, or they kill 2 of them, and then you're just going to get your tokens and I wouldn't say stabilize, but you're going to at least have something there to kind of either finish the job or, take a few points of damage off them or something like that. So nice little insulation package there. Pretty straightforward card, nothing really exciting about it, but it will see standard play. It's going to be placed into probably the Mardu Angels deck, or maybe a red-white Angels deck to go with Aurelia or something along those lines, but nothing real special. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next. We're going to have Starfield Mystic. It's a 1 white for a 2/2 human cleric that says enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on the Starfield Mystic. So definitely going back to Theros, no question about it. This just breaks it right open. We're definitely going back there soon, very soon. They wouldn't really print this card if we weren't going back there soon. Like I said, in these core sets, they kind of hint toward where we're going with the story and what we're doing, along with putting a lot of hate cards and answer cards in there. So this one's pretty straightforward as far as a Enchantress style card where enchantments cost a little less. Whenever enchantment you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, it gets bigger. Not sure how that's going to work in the future. Maybe there's something where you can start reoccurring them, so you're putting enchantments in the graveyard and you're making them big or something. Right now there isn't really an incentive to do that, because our good enchantments are ones that take out non-land permanents or creatures, stuff like that. So you want to keep those on the battlefield and make sure that they don't get their stuff back. So right now, just a vanilla 2/2 in my opinion, so nothing really exciting. I don't see any place for it currently, but once we get more of the set, maybe we'll get some really cool enchantments that it'll be nice for them to be discounted. So let's go ahead and move along. We have a couple more cards here. Next we have Hanged Executioner. It's a 2 and a white for a 1/1 flying spirit. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 spirit creature token with flying. And 3 and a white, exile Hanged Executioner, and you can exile target creature. So this is great for the spirits deck. It's a way to exile a big threat. It makes a second spirit to go along with it when it first comes in, and you can pair this with your the new Lord spirit, and make a pretty beefy team there. Other than that, I don't see it really finding a place in standard. Spirits isn't really a big, big creature type right now. Maybe we can get a bunch more spirits in this set, and it'll be really cool. And we can have a, spirit tribal deck. That would be super awesome. But right now it's just a 3-drop 1/1 flyer that makes another flyer. So pretty boring. But we'll go ahead and give it the rare, because it can exile a creature. So let's go ahead and move on to our next card here. All right, our next card here is going to be Golos Tireless Pilgrim. It's a 5-drop 3/5 legendary artifact creature Scout. Never seen the Scout creature type before. One thing to note is that you can use any color of mana, colorless or any color, to cast this, which is really cool. All right, so it says, when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card, put that card into the battlefield tapped, and then you shuffle your library. And for 2 Wooburg, and Wooburg stands for white, blue, black, red, green, the 5 colors of mana. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. So the first thing we look at, and the first thing that sticks out, is that it says land card and not basic land. So we can go in and get any land we want. We can go get Gaia's Cradle. We can go get Urborg or Cabal Coffers, Valakut. Any land that you want, you can go get. Keswick Wolf Run, have at it, which is crazy. Any card that allows you to get any land you want out of your deck, and especially right onto the battlefield, is fantastic. This might replace or just go right next to Solemn Simulacrum in EDH, so that's pretty sweet. We have just, not any deck can play because it does have the mana cost there in the bottom, but it is pretty crazy that you can get any lanes you want. So excited to try that out with my commander deck and hit somebody with a big Keswick Wolf Run, guys. The second ability, pretty nuts if you can kind of stack the top of your deck with like Brainstorms or Ponders or something along those lines to have it set up so you're hitting these massive spells in Commander, because you can cast whatever you want and you don't have to pay the mana cost. So want to cast 10 drop, you put it on top, exile it, boom, gonna get that 10 drop. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. I know I'm going to play it a lot. I think this is a fantastic card. I can't wait to sleeve this bad boy up. Well, yeah, that's going to be great. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. I don't know. I have to look around what lands I really want to put in my deck, but there's some ideas floating around, but we'll just see. I'd love to see this in Standard. I think if I have enough wild cards, I'm going to get these on Arena and just maybe put that Augur in there that brainstorms and try to make something work with the biggest spells in Standard. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next card here. All right, our next card here is the new Kaalia, Zenith Seeker. Mardu colors, red, white, black for 3/3 Vigilance. All right, when it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an angel card, demon card, and or dragon card from among them and put them into your hand for the rest of the bottom. So basically what this means is you look at the top 6, and if you have an angel or a demon or a dragon, you get that card to your hand. Or if you have an angel, demon, and dragon, you get all 3 to your hand. Pretty strict requirements there, considering that those creature types are usually pretty high mana cost. So I don't think you want to jam your whole deck full like 20 of those cards, but I can definitely see you hitting 1 or 2 to be worth it, especially for a 3-drop 3/3 Flying Vigilance. Very comparable to like Mantis Rider. This has Vigilance, that had Haste, so pretty close. This one has a way better ability. It's not just a beater. It's gonna get you some really big threats, and it's gonna chip in for some damage as well. This is definitely going in all the original Kaalia EDH decks. Those are just filled with angels, dragons, and demons. So this just slots right in, no problem. For Standard, a lot of good angels. Resplendent Angel, Shalai, Aurelia, Lyra, super good. Dragons, it's kind of iffy. Scar and Hellkite is pretty good. That kind of competes with Lyra on the 5-drop slot, but it's still pretty good. Demons, I think they're just a little too expensive, but you could throw a Bells and Lock in there and be fine. So I expect this to see a bunch of play. I mean, it's a 3-drop 3/3 flyer. It's good on curve. Could find you a second card, so there's a little bit of card advantage there. Definitely like this card. We'll see where it ends up when M20 drops and when the new extended Standard or non-rotating format happens as well. All right, now we have the blue ley line. They revealed the blue ley line. It's the ley line of Anticipation. Now ley lines, like we saw in last video, if they're in your opening hand before the start of the game. You can just put them in to play for free. It's a pretty interesting concept. Typically the whole playing spells for free thing never goes over well, but these have kind of hung around, and they've never been abused too badly. So this one's definitely more of a commander card than a constructed playable card. You may cast spells as though they had flash. Really cool effect. But with 3 mana Teferi, it's kind of difficult to, be hyped about this card, because that card stops everything fun about Magic, which is playing instant speed spells, like counter spells. Or, removal spells, stuff like that, draw spells. This lets you play anything as though it had flash, which is super fun and unpredictable, and everyone's kind of trying to keep track of what you're doing. But Teferi kind of shuts that down pretty hard, so it's kind of funny that they printed this right after 3 mana Teferi came up. So I don't expect this to be played at all because of how popular Teferi is. So I mean, we'll see. Maybe people will still play it, but I never really saw it play prior, so I don't really expect it to play. It's really cool that they reprinted it. Good reprint. Commander players get a little bit cheaper, so that's pretty great. So let's go ahead and move on to our last card here. Okay, moving on to our last card here, and I'm super pumped about this one. The new 3 mana blue Planeswalker is amazing. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to play this card. I gotta save up some Mythic Wild cards to do it, but I think it's gonna be perfect. Can't really pronounce the name. Mu Yanling Skydancer. 1 blue, 2 loyalty. +2 until your next turn of the 1 target creature gets -2/-0 and loses flying. -3, create a 4/4 blue elemental bird creature token with flying. And the -8, you get an emblem with islands you control, have tap, draw a card. So first off, it's got 2 loyalty, pretty fragile, but it does have a +2 to go to 4, and the plus pretty kind of protects it a little bit. The fact that the creature would lose flying is actually pretty relevant. Looks like they're pushing flying a lot in this set, especially with the favorable winds on a creature that we saw earlier. So that's pretty interesting. That's kind of like a Liliana style plus, or maybe like a Jace type deal where they just get minus power so they can't attack in. The -3, create a 4/4 blue elemental bird with creature token with flying is actually pretty awesome. It's a really big threat. You can't do it immediately though. That's the main thing. It's very interesting. I haven't really seen that with any Planeswalker, is that when you first play it and it comes into play, you have to plus before you minus. Usually with Planeswalkers, they have enough loyalty so you can at least minus once before it dies. Like if this came in with 4 loyalty, -3 down to 1 to get a 4/4. This one's a lot different because you have to plus before you minus, which is actually a pretty cool way to make sure the power level is still high enough that people want to play it, but still keep it in line so that it's not, not turn 3, you're not pumping out a Planeswalker and a 4/4 bird. So that's pretty cool. And the -8 is actually my favorite part of this because I love islands. They're my favorite, and drawing cards is the best thing to do in Magic, and making your islands draw a card is just like a happiness sandwich. It's fantastic. I cannot wait. I'm just going to keep plussing this Planeswalker until I get to ultimate her at least once. That's all I want. I just want to draw a bunch of cards. There's nothing wrong with that. I like drawing cards. You like, playing hasty creatures. That's okay. Because I just want to draw cards. You do whatever you want. I just want to draw cards. Yeah, she's going to be great. I think she'll actually see play in Modern maybe. there might even be a mono blue deck coming out at some point. I mean, it's going to be hard to keep up with all these, graveyard decks, but in standard, this is definitely going to see play alongside Narset. Going to go into those Planeswalker decks. Really sweet design with this card. Protects yourself, everything like that. So definitely expect to see this card in constructed decks for sure. Okay, and that is going to do it for today's spoilers for Core Set 2020. Again, if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Definitely helps out a lot. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, you can go ahead and hit that thumbs down and let me know in the comments which cards you enjoyed, which ones you want to see in constructed decks, which ones you're going to play in constructed decks, which ones, commander decks are going to play. It's all super exciting. I love spoiler season. It's so cool to get new cards every day. Cannot wait to play with them. Pre-release is right around the corner on July 5th, so I will definitely be at my LGS for that. But until then, we will see you in the next video.